Hey guys, today we'll be taking a look at an F-Zero clone. So let's talk about Super Famicom racing games. We've got F-Zero, Super Mario Kart, but have any of you ever heard of Astro Go-Go? Probably not. It's a Super Famicom game that never made it across the pond due to some possibilities that I'll explain, but it's an F-Zero rip. Alright, so you start off with a simple menu screen with race and time trial. You also have 5 different characters you can choose from: EO, Love, Fly High, Barabroon, and Jet. I'm going to choose Love. You also have 3 different cups: the Wonder Cup, the Ultra Cup, and the Miracle Cup. Each cup have about 5 or 6 different tracks. Alright, so let's get to the game. As you can see, it looks like F-Zero, and it's basically the same plot. You're racing in the future, but this takes place in space instead of on Earth like F-Zero. So there are 6 or so different tracks, and they'll have a sequel track like Satellite Q, and in the next up there'll be Satellite Q2, a lot like F-Zero with its repeated tracks with variations. Each level has a new and unusual gimmick or obstacle that you'll need to take advantage of to stay ahead of the group. This keeps the levels from getting stale too fast, even though each level and its upgrades don't change all too much. Okay, so the controls have a bit of a learning curve to them. This is what will probably break the game for most of you. Unlike an F-Zero, if you hit the ignition and you press left, it will face you left. And if you press right, it will face you right. It's got those tank-like controls that take some time to get used to. And if you couldn't tell, the camera's in an awkward position, and it's fixed there, so the camera doesn't turn with you. So if you're going straight up and you have to make a turn to the right, you won't be able to see everything that's in front of you. That's where the arrows on the track come into play. They're your best friend. Pay attention to them or else you won't know which way to turn. Another problem is when you touch something, it bounces you all over the place like a super ball. Or your opponents can knock into your car, bouncing you into a wall. Or you can accidentally knock into their car, sending you back 20 feet, possibly into a hole or an obstacle. But you can also do this to them, and sometimes it works into your favor. The graphics in this game are about as good as F-Zero. All the tracks look great, and this game is very appealing to the eyes. You can see the game is extremely colorful, keeping the game from being visually boring. So if you're tired of racing, you can always go to the time trials and practice the tracks. You can choose any of the tracks you like in any cup. I find this pretty necessary to get good with some of the later levels when the races really get intense and you're trying as hard as you can not to crash and get any place above 4th. The levels you can choose from aren't that bad. You got Sweet Cake Land, Satellite Q, Pinball Colony, Jurassic Star, Firestone, Ice Baby Planet, and Air Station. I find Satellite Q and Air Station to be my 2 favorites. The music is alright. It's kind of forgettable, because it's nothing compared to the F-Zero soundtrack, which is amazing. This, depending on who you choose, you might not even be able to hear the music. Alright, so that's Astro Go-Go. I like the game. It took me like a dedicated afternoon to get used to the controls and beat the first 2 cups. I like the game so much, I actually imported it for Christmas. And it's like the perfect game, because there's like no Japanese whatsoever in the game. So if you're interested, find the ROM, before you try buying it, and see if you have any problem with the controls. Sometime I'm going to talk about Battle Races, which is basically a rip-off of Mario Kart for the Famicom. So I'll see you next time. I'll probably talk about that some other time.